Time for world politics. Let's see what's going on the political landscape. Israel strikes targeting Hamas leaders in Qatar. Does not advance Israel or America's goal, is what the White House is saying. And all along those lines, so Israel carries out attack in Qatar, targeting Hamas leaders. That is what Israeli sources are saying, and all along those lines. So definitely, White House rebukes Doha strike in a rare break with Netanyahu. So definitely, Hamas claims leadership survived the Israeli strike on Doha, as Trump says the U.S. trying to warn Qatar. And France's Macron names Lois Lecornu as the new prime minister. So Lecornu is the new prime minister there, and apparently he's taking a big risk in picking a loyalist to be his next prime minister. So France government has collapsed again. How did we get here, and what's next is what people are asking, and all along those lines. And protests against Nepal's social media ban grow more violent as demonstrators set buildings on fire. Nepal's parliament has been set on fire after the prime minister resigns over anti-corruption protests. Troops deployed after a day of violent protests in Nepal, and the young anti-corruption protesters oust Nepal Prime Minister Oli. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about in the news as well. Activists say a Gaza aid boat set to test Israel's blockade was attacked by drones in Tunisia. Gaza flotilla ship attacked by drone off Tunisia is what organizers are saying. Greta Thunberg flotilla says Gaza aid boat hit by that drone attack in Tunisia, and there are even some folks that are using video to investigate the reported strike on that particular flotilla. And Ethiopia has inaugurated Africa's biggest dam amid regional tensions. So Ethiopia opens Africa's largest hydroelectric dam to Egyptian protests. And the pride of Ethiopia, what it took to build Africa's largest hydroelectric dam. So definitely that's something that folks are looking at. And from Haile Selassie to crowdfunding, how Ethiopia's Jer Dam was born. So apparently it's been an idea in the mind of Ethiopia ever since the days of Haile Selassie. And Ethiopia inaugurates Africa's largest hydroelectric dam as that rift with Egypt deepens, and all along those lines. So Israel is ordering the full evacuation of Gaza City, as Netanyahu warns this is only the beginning. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. So lots going on in that space. And like I said, a lot of people are paying attention to the protests there in Nepal as well. So definitely lots going on in the world, whether it be Israel, Ethiopia, or even Russian missile that hit government headquarters contained over 30 foreign-made parts, Ukraine says. So the political signals Russia sends with each huge barrage on Ukraine is an article that was published in the New York Times, and folks are definitely interested in that as well. Ukraine government building damaged in Kyiv in the largest Russian attack since the war began. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about as well. Russia bombs Ukraine almost every night. This is what it sounds like as they are having those regular attacks, and I'm sure that it is horrific and all along those lines. So definitely just letting folks know about that and all in that space. So that is some of the news from the world and all along those lines. I'm going to bring in Sasha Starr, see what he's got going on, and also some of the things that he's talking about. We've also got the Lawyer's Den, I think, coming up later, but he just came back from doing another show. So we're going to find out how his show went and all along those lines. I had to run to my other job, so I did not get a chance to jump on the call, but I'm sure he and the rest of the gang handled it with their usual success and all along those lines. So before I get to some other world issues, and maybe we'll be joined by others as well, I'm going to bring in Sasha and see how the show went with Jim Peters and what kind of things you've got going on in your world and everything like that. So how did the show go with Jim Peters this afternoon?
I think it went very well, and we're going to see it around 9 o'clock tonight, live,
Okay.
or almost live.
Right.
um, he was quite impressed with the fact that although most of Americans, thanks to Donald Trump, believe that it's just a matter of time when Russia, bigger country, will actually win the war outright against Ukraine. And the three of us completely debunked that point of view that Ukraine is so much technologically advanced compared to Russia. They're fighting war of the 21st century. Russia is fighting 19th century, maybe 20 is the best. It's just a matter of time when Ukrainians will overrun Russians. He was quite surprised by that approach from all three of us,
Good.
believe it or not. Then I explained to him my point of view, which I earlier mentioned on the Ukrainian show, that Trump completely changing his foreign policy. He cannot afford to fight losing wars. He cannot afford to keep all kind of election promises to finish the war in 24 hours, then in 12 hours, and whatever is now 9 months since he's already president or almost there. And where is the end of war? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
He just wasted people's time. He promised them that, okay, another 2 weeks, another 2.5 weeks. Oh, Putin is now, he said that he wants to have a peace or so. All that garbage was coming almost daily on American taxpayers. I think it's about time they get fed up with that and say, come on, Trump. We elected you to do something. You promised to do something. Where is all that?
Yep.
No, well, they're waiting. They're still waiting. Trump employs this Geschäft diplomacy with, what's his name, Witkov. And this is becoming a bizarre clown's show. He and his assistant Witkov, they are two bizarre clowns. That's all what there is to it. So American people uh, gave the right to conduct their foreign affairs to two clowns who don't know nothing about history, geography, motivation of different world leaders, countries, nothing. Zero, or even worse than zero. If there is such category, then it applies to both of these
And
individuals.
apparently he's not back in Israel either, because in a rebuke, and I mentioned that before you came on, but apparently he was saying that the bombing that Israel did was not servicing their cause and everything like that. So apparently Trump is not happy with Netanyahu either. So he made some very strong statements earlier today about those bomb attacks, and it sounds like he was saying that they were bad attacks and all along those lines. But yeah, it seems like he's not back in his own allies and everything along those lines. So Trump seems to be getting in trouble. I also saw, I watched a little bit of the press conference where they were trying to get, and Cory Booker was involved, the Epstein files released and everything like that. And they were trying to tie it to the immigration bill, and they were trying to tie it to an opioid bill and a number of other things as well. But it does seem like Trump might be in trouble because of these Epstein files, and the folks that apparently on both sides of the house just would like to know who's involved, who's not involved, and what they can do about this and everything. So, what's your take on this? Because, like I said, I was watching a little bit of the Senate hearings. I believe it was the Senate hearings, yeah, because Cory Booker is in the Senate and all along those lines. And it was interesting to hear him try to tie different things to it, and he wasn't taking a lot of uh, just like he wasn't letting anybody get over on him. That's the word I was looking for, and everything. But it was him and Tillis, and they even said that they agreed on a lot of issues, including the need to get rid of opioids in America and all along those lines. But but they also wanted transparency, and apparently that's what a lot of people want is transparency. So, what is your thoughts around this notion of will we ever get any transparency from Trump in the next 4 years?
3.5.
3.5.
No, there will be no transparency. He can say one thing and 10 minutes completely opposite thing.
But
He is talking that he's not happy with Netanyahu. But he was one who gave Israel a green light all the way. Bomb and kill as many people as you want or you need or you are able to. Green light all the way, because with Israel Trump can conduct a winning war, because Israel is so much superior from military point of view to all Arab countries put together, that there is no risk of loss with Israel. Just go kill this people and that people. No peace with the Palestinians or whoever. Just go kill and kill and kill and kill. And then he said, "Oh, that's
well,
not good. You're killing too many people." Well, it's happened to be today. Maybe tomorrow it will be less people.
this is the exact quote that came, and apparently it came only a few minutes ago. It was reported in the Washington Post and the CNN and a number of other media sources. But the White House said that the Israel strike targeting Hamas leaders in Qatar does not advance Israel or America's goals. So that's what they meant when they said that he
That's
was.
okay. Okay. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. So he said that. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
It's a deflection. That's all there is.
it's definitely sounded like a deflection. He definitely likes to deflect and all along those lines. So he's trying to deflect again. Apparently, speaking of deflections, and I know that when Rick's here, he oftentimes talks about RFK and everything like that. But apparently, we have a new plan to make America's kids healthy again. So this came out today, where he's having the Make America Healthy Again report calls for more scrutiny of vaccines and autism. So the Trump administration is imploring the nation's public health agencies to prioritize investigations of vaccine injuries, prescription drug use, and autism's cause in a new Make America Healthy Again report focused on children that was released earlier today. So the 20-page report overseen by RFK Jr. promises to put an end to childhood diseases in the U.S. by refocusing the nation's public health agencies on the topics that those in Kennedy's wide-ranging and politically diverse MAHA, Make America Healthy Again movement have demanded the government prioritize. So the report does not lay out regulatory changes, instead calling on government agencies to further research a wide range of issues related to Americans' health. So I guess he wants us to look into autism and the vaccine and a number of other things. So it sounds like he's got a wide ranging bunch of issues that he wants folks to look at and everything like that. So as a matter of fact, it says people who report vaccine injuries will be welcomed, and we will learn everything we can about them so we can improve the safety of those products. So it looks like they're trying to analyze the vaccine. And I know some people that have even claimed that they did not take the vaccine because they were concerned about its health concerns. And that was when I was active in Clubhouse, and that was about a year or two ago. So I don't know if those people still have those same views or not and everything. But what's your take on RFK Jr. and this whole notion of him wanting to investigate and make our children healthy again?
I have no opinion on that. If you select in your cabinet complete idiots, what do you expect from them? I don't expect anything.
Don't expect much from them at all, and all along those lines. I can understand that, not expecting much from them. What was Jim Peters' thoughts? Because, I've always been impressed. He always brings some good videos, and I don't know if he was able to play any videos and everything, but what was his impression of Ivan? Because Ivan is a great war correspondent. I would even say that myself. I would compare him to the war correspondents of the Vietnam era and all along those lines. So what was his thoughts around Ivan?
Well, let me diffuse this notion of him being war correspondent. War correspondent is somebody who is on the front lines and who is taking detailed observation of what's happening on the front lines. Ivan is not on the front lines, okay? He lives in Kiev. I have my very good friend from my childhood. He lives in Odessa. And is he on the front lines? No. However, he has five uh, sons, and the one of them he is on the front line. He is in Ukrainian army. That what means being on the front line, and he's risking his life every day. That's something different. Okay. However, for say publicity reasons, If somebody is featuring him as the frontline war correspondent and all that stuff, I'm not going to argue with that either.
Yeah, that makes sense and everything. Do you know if Ivan's got a journalism background? I don't even know that much about Ivan, other than I know that I admire his work, and he's oftentimes talking about what's going on in that area and everything. Or has he got a computer or technology background? So, what is Ivan's background and everything in terms of his education?
He's a high tech. He was got education in eastern Ukraine, what is now what used to be Luhansk. I don't know. Russian probably will rename it into something else. And he worked as a IT person in Kiev. That's as much as I know.
Okay, well that's fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't sure how we found him or how he found you and everything like that, but he does do a good job, and y'all do a great job. I know we'll be finding out on the report when it comes out on Jim Peters' show later on this evening, and of course we'll also be having your regular show on Friday. And like I said, I know that Brandon has been saying that
Yeah.
that show, in addition to World Edition, are some of the more popular shows. So we do know that we get a lot of good publicity from that show. So I do know a lot of folks are watching it regularly. I know you put it out, and Jonathan puts it out, and a number of other people put it out as well. So I do know that even Brandon was like, I think that it was the second or third most popular show, with the first one being the World Edition that we do in the morning and everything. And that might be just because it's consistently daily and it's got all of us on there and everything like that. But that's the one that apparently is the number one ranked show according to Brandon, who does a lot of statistical work and can follow it better than even I can and others. So that's what he reported to the leadership about, I want to say a week ago and everything like that. So I think he's trying to keep track as to what's going on and what's happening in that space and all along those lines. And by the way, this might be another short one because I do have to do that show with not Coco this time, but with your friend Peter at 6 o'clock because our good friend Nick bailed on us, so I've got to do that show at 6. So it'll probably be about a 30-minute show. So if there's any other news items that you want to get to or that you want to share with folks, including about investment, because we will have investment, modern investment on tomorrow, but any of the stories that you are interested in, and I'll look at some other ones as well, but definitely anything that you want to let our listeners know about, I'll turn it over to you as well.
Well, tomorrow we have modern investing at 1 o'clock, right? Um, what we are talking about in modern investing is that unlike 50, 70 years ago, you could buy a handful of stock and keep it for life and get some dividends perhaps and leave it all to your children and grandchildren. Today is a very different environment. You have to be on your toes. Nothing you can keep for, in my opinion, longer than say 5 weeks. Probably 5 weeks probably is the longest time that you can keep the same stock, because there are cycles where it goes higher on some news perhaps, and then there could be a drawback, and the drawback sometimes could be 1 week, sometimes it could be several weeks, and that stock, instead of making you a little bit of profit, will get you nothing but losses, and you will see so much red on your screen that you will stomach that, and you will get tired and sick of that. So you have to be on your toes. You have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand mechanics about stocks. Something like, for example, the channels through which the stocks are trading, and it goes a little bit higher, lower. Then you can correct. You can put up the lines which are connecting your lows and your highs. So there is a channel, you can see where you are. What's most likely happening? It's not 100% game, but 70% more or less. You can really figure out where you are in your trade, what you're doing. And yeah, it takes some time. If you don't want to spend any time, then there is Dr. Milan Sambarak on our show who shows you consistently buying S&P 500, and then if it goes down, you average down, and if it goes even lower, then you even more leverage down, and if it goes even lower, then you take mortgage. You can put all your money that you have, and you don't have everything you put there. And if that doesn't work, then you go to drive Uber and hope for the best for the rest of your
Yep,
life.
that's all you can do in that case and everything. It looks like coming back to Epstein that the president is saying that it's a dead issue, so he declined to comment on the letter he allegedly signed for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday book in 2003. So if Epstein was alive today, he'd be like around 72 or something like that along those lines. But definitely he's saying that he refused to even comment because as far as he's concerned, it's a dead issue, even though people want transparency. And Zelensky called the attack on eastern Ukraine brutally savage. So Russian airstrike killed more than 20 in eastern Ukraine and all along those lines. So Zelensky definitely had some harsh words and rightful harsh words in that case. I got a quick question for you, and then we'll get ready to wrap up shortly. Why would you? Because I've never understood this. I know people usually go in a upwards emotion if they're doing it in the political circle, kind of like our own Steve Rao. He's gone from city council to now running for county commissioner, and who knows, maybe he'll go for a state job. But in the case of Governor Cuomo, it sounds like he's going backwards because he was a governor, which is the whole state, and now apparently he wants to be the mayor of New York and beat this Mamdani guy and everything. And apparently Mamdani is very much on the liberal side of politics and everything like that. But I'm still trying to figure out, if you've already been governor, why would you want to be mayor of a city and everything like that? So what's your take on this? Because that seems like that's not a upwardly mobile move. That sounds like that's a downwardly mobile move.
Most of these people never done in their life anything useful. All they've done is talking, and talking can be elected or be rejected, and all that's their lives. To me, they're all bloodthirsty suckers. They are good for nothing. I would not give them people even $5 on a good day.
Right. You wouldn't even put money into their campaign. I understand that
No,
and everything.
no, nothing. I would, if they would come to beg me for $5 or $25, I would show them the door right away.
Show them the door. You know, I know one of the things that we've been talking about on this story is this whole notion with Cracker Barrel, which is a store here in the Southeast, but apparently they are changing their restaurant design. So sometimes if you protest enough, some of those protests can work. So the decision came after the disastrous rebranding because they were trying to rebrand their store. And I thought that the old brand was an effective brand, but apparently folks were upset, thought that it was too woke or too modern and all along those lines. So they are definitely trying to rebrand themselves and everything. It looks like they're going to stick with the old brand, and we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, everybody wants to change their brand sometimes in order to win a different type of audience. Coming back to Andrew Cuomo just really quickly, it looks like a lot of the real estate bigwigs, like the Trump types, are trying to come to him in order to stop the socialists, because I think that that's what Mamdani is supposed to be. Is and he may be even labeled himself as a socialist, but from becoming mayor. So it looks like he shook up his campaign staff just 56 days before the election, and he's also been hustling around with a bunch of major developers, including the Hudson Yard developer Jeff Blau, who is the CEO of related companies, and some other big types. So it looks like he's going after the folks that might be able to give him some money, including his longtime pal Greg Himowitz and the Seagram Building co-owner Abby Robson and the prominent philanthropist Lori Tisch. So it looks like they're trying to get some of these major hedge fund money people to do what you won't do, which is give him some money to hopefully beat this other candidates. Because, matter of fact, he's even overjoyed that he just received a key union endorsement. So apparently he thinks the unions can help him as well. So it looks like he's going after both sides of the aisle, both the workers as well as the folks that would be the equivalent of your Russian oligarchs, which would be like the real estate tycoons and everything like that. So maybe it'll work. Right now he's down in the polls, but we'll see if he can beat Mamdani, and if that's the case, if he's going to go from being governor to mayor, and then we'll see whether he does anything with New York City, because New York City is one of those places that Trump keeps saying is crime-ridden, and because it's crime-ridden, he's sending the National Guard there. Just really quickly, because you've lived in a country when you lived in Soviet Union that it was repressive and all along those lines. Do you think Trump is actually going to go for martial law all over the country?
Yes, he will. He has to. Otherwise, he will never win another term as a president. So sooner or later, he will need a martial law to get away with his elections, to have a special right to run for a third term. That's coming for sure. There's no doubt about that. Uh, Mark, I'm very disillusioned now with the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
You know that in Charlotte, the young Ukrainian,
Yeah,
23 years old
right.
girl, was killed mercilessly, and Democrats haven't done anything about it. They never reported it until Trump put it on his True Social and so on, and then some Democrats started to talk about it. This is inexcusable. A hell with the idiots. They lost elections, they will lose next 55 elections. There is no absolutely reasoning why they've done it. There is no forgiveness for that.
Doesn't Charlotte have a Democratic mayor? And I think that I think they mentioned it when the attack first happened, and definitely I think even came out. So, and I have relatives in Charlotte, so I will reach out to them and see if I am correct or not. But I think that you may be incorrect, and that some of the people in Charlotte actually did come out and forcefully and were highly upset that this Ukrainian girl was attacked in this horrible attack and all along those
They
lines.
didn't make it a national issue. Yeah, some of them were talking a little bit here, a little bit there. They didn't bring it up as a national issue, as the tragedy that shocked not only America but all the world. And they were talking about put a little information in the newspaper here and there. No, Trump was one who brought it into national issue and all the news, and only then CNN and MSNBC and all others started to talk about it.
Well, I mean, he definitely has a bully pulpit and everything along those lines. But like I said, I'm going to do some research. But I do think that there
Okay,
was some reports from, matter of fact, and you are right, the Charlotte mayor is under scrutiny on election day. So they might even get some pushback because of what happened and everything like that. Because I did see that was reported about an hour ago in our local newspaper, on our local TV stations. But I'm going to do some more research because, like I said, I do have cousins and
okay.
other relatives and even some activist friends that are down in Charlotte. So I'm not going to say that they didn't do anything until I find out what's going on and everything. Because even the White House is blaming the Democratic judge for letting the person get away because the person had been charged with some other horrible crimes as well. But I will definitely do some
He
journalistic
was
research.
let on bail when there was actually no bail. He was not required to pay even $1 to
Well,
get on bail, so called, while committing so many crimes. Look, Mark, this is, see, overall, it's not such a big deal. So, okay, so the guy killed a girl. Well, it's happening almost daily in any country, anywhere. But you have hardened a criminal who was on the bail without actually paying the bail. This is a horrible, horrible story for Democrats. It
and
is. Yes.
and I agree it's not a good look and everything. I might even reach out to V. Laus because I think that is the mayor of Charlotte, and she said that she did not want to villainize DeCarlos Brown, who is accused of murdering Iriana Zaratotsky in an unprovoked attack. And she said that Charlotte must do better for people like Mr. Brown, who is homeless, as they need help and have no place to go. So it sounds like she's coming to the aid. And then, like you said, the comment led to calls on social media for her to resign, with some branding her a total lunatic and calling for Donald Trump to send in the National Guard to Charlotte. So we'll see what goes on. And Mr. Brown has been arrested, like you said, 14 times and spent 6 years in prison for robbery and larceny, and was accused of stabbing Miss Zaradosky to death on that light rail train on August 22nd and everything like that. So, like I said, I'm going to maybe invite some of these people on because that's what I do on this network. So maybe I'll reach out to Laos and some of the other people involved in that case and see if we can get them to justify what they did or did not do and everything like that. Because
Bring them then on your morning show.
that's what
Let
I just
them
said.
talk.
That's what I just said. I said I will reach out to them and see if they are available. We do have a guest this Wednesday, but it's more of a guest for our folks from India because they're going to be talking a little bit about India as well as a major Indian holiday. Matter of fact, I got to send them the link and everything, but they'll only be on for a part of the show, not the whole show and everything, probably at the beginning. But yeah, Miss Lyles had earlier suggested the footage had not been shared widely out of respect for the victim's family. The video of the heartbreaking attack that took Ariana Zelensky's life or Zaradowski's life is now public. I want to thank our media partners and community members who have chosen not to repost or share the footage out of respect for her family or Ariana's family. So definitely, yeah, I'll reach out to them and bring them on and see what they've got to say and all along those lines. It looks like she's a very pretty young lady and everything like that, but that's neither here nor there. But I will reach out and see if we can get some folks from Charlotte as well to see what's going on in Charlotte, because Charlotte has been a protest haven. Because I know they've had several protests. I was actually down there 3 years ago for one of the might have been when either the Republicans or the Democrats were having their convention, and I remember going down there on a bus trip. So it was before. It had to have been before the pandemic, so it's probably about 5 or 6 years ago and everything like that. But that's neither here nor there. We can actually end early because it's been about 30 minutes and everything like that. So this will be our abbreviated version of World Politics. I've got to get to Peter's show and everything like that. As always, Sasha, it's been good talking to you. I was actually just talking to some people
Excellent.
earlier today that were from Canada because I think their son is thinking about moving to Canada. So they were at my cultural center and everything like that. So once I find out more about their trip, I may be having them get in touch with you and everything because I think they're coming to
Okay.
Ottawa. But I'll let you know once I find out more and everything. But right now, let's get on out of here.
Thank you. Bye bye, Mark.
Bye. Bye.